Hello and welcome to the week. An uneasy calm prevails in Ladakh today, a day after four protesters were killed in police firing. The police opened fire after protesters belonging to Ladakh Apex Body's youth wing took to streets and ran amok following to the health condition of two senior citizens who were part of a hunger strike led by Sonam Wangchuk, noted Ladakh climate activist and educator, in support of the demand for statehood and sixth schedule for Ladakh. Sonam Wangchuk began this strike on September 10 to demand that Centre should initiate further talks on these two demands for Ladakh. The youth wing of LAB had called for a protest yesterday, and when this news of those two senior citizens who are part of this hunger strike that their health has deteriorated, when this news filtered out and they were taken to hospital in a very bad conditions, this created anger among the youth. They took to streets and started shouting slogans, and later they ran amok and set ablaze the BJP office, also the Hill Council building, and some vehicles belonging, including one belonging to police. The police initially fired smoke shells and tried to resort to baton charge to calm down the situation, but later the police had to open fire, in which four protesters were killed and several others were injured. The center later said, accused Sonam Wangchuk of provoking youth into a frenzy. The center later said that the Sonam Wangchuk had, in his address to the youth, during his hunger strike, had given reference to. Made references to Arab Spring-like agitation, and also what happened in Nepal recently, the agitation that was led by Gen Z. This provoked and inflamed youth who took to streets, and then they later resorted to violence. The center said that Sonam Wangchuk's utterances and references to Arab Spring and Zenji inflamed passions among the youth, and who later came out and resorted to violence. The center said that it is committed to the fulfilling the demands of the Ladakh, and it also mentioned that the demands of the Ladakh post its separation from Jammu and Kashmir and granting of union territory status have been fulfilled. Much headway has been made on the demands for reservation of jobs, land, guarantees to identity, culture, but the demand for statehood and sixth schedule has proved to be intractable. Though the last round of talks between center government and Ladakhi leaders led by Ladakh Apex Body and Kargil Democratic Alliance was very fruitful, in which the Ladakh MP Hanifa Jan also participated, but the center has already made it clear to these Ladakhi leadership that while it was willing to extend certain provisions of sixth schedule to Ladakh, the granting of statehood to Ladakh was out of question. Sonam Wangchuk last year also sat on a hunger strike for many days, and later he took that. Then they traveled all the way to Delhi via Manali and sat at Jantar Mantar, and that hunger strike culminated on October 2, coinciding with Gandhi Jayanti. This year also, he started this hunger strike in support for the demand for statehood and sixth schedule. And his main concern was that the center, when he sat on the hunger strike, center later responded and said that it will hold talks with LAB and KDA leaders on October 6th. However, that did not sit well with Sonam Wangchuk and his supporters, saying that it was too long a time. They said that 16 days delay, in view of the hunger strike, and also keeping in view that there were men, women, and young who were taking part in that hunger strike. 16 days delay was too long a time for holding of talks, and they said that these talks should be held this month. But yesterday, the Ladakh Apex Body's youth wing had called for a strike in support of the demand for early talks with center on statehood and sixth schedule issue. But when these two elderly men were taken sick because they have been sitting on hunger strikes for the last 10 odd days, that inflamed passions, and as a result, protests broke out, and which later turned violent, forcing police to open fire. The center later issued a statement accusing Sonam Wangchuk of making provocative statements and misleading youth. They also said, as in a statement, the MHA said, Sonam Wangchuk's reference to Arab Spring and Gen Z like protest in Nepal led the youth astray, and then was the reason for the violence that these youth committed, and in which precious lives were lost. Center has said that it is committed to fulfilling the aspirations of people of Ladakh, but at the same time, it has said that violence has no place in a civil society, and has also appealed for calm. Today, the Kargil Democratic Alliance issued a statement in a press conference. They condemned the killing of youth, four youth in Kargil, Leh, and they said they stand behind the LAB, Sonam Wangchuk, and also demanded a probe into the killing of these four youths, and they urged Center to hold talks at the earliest on the issue of sixth schedule and also statehood. The KDA representatives Asghar Karbalai, Sajjad Kargili, and the Ladakh MP Hanifa Jan, they accused Center of dilly-dallying, and they said enough, 5 years is a long time, and not much headway has been made on the key demands, i.e. the constitutional guarantees, jobs, and other important issues. They said that the center needs to understand that this is a sensitive border state, and the people of Ladakh are very peaceful, and their demands are genuine, and their political aspirations need to be respected.